Hello, I'm Maximilian Avila. I'm a biology major,
I'm Alvaro Alamia, and I'm a math major.
and we're doing a presentation on poverty in California.
California is the most impoverished state in the country. However, California is also among the most wealthy. The gap between the rich and the poor never stops, and there are many reasons why, including race/ethnicity, housing prices, cost of living, failing schools and bad education, low-paying occupations, and booming businesses in the large cities are some of the biggest reasons. The high costs of housing and race/ethnicity show the most correlation related to poverty in certain areas and are the most significant influences on our data. We based our data dealing with race/ethnicity and housing in both Fresno and Los Angeles, while our race/ethnicity data is based off the federal poverty scale below 200%. The data is gathered based on the total percentage from 2011 through 2015. Our data based on housing compared housing prices in both LA and Fresno to see how it correlates to the poverty rates overall.
So our gap was that we were trying to fill was the lack of information that housing and race and ethnicity have on a person's living conditions in the ever-growing population of California. Our research question is how does race and ethnicity and housing costs in Fresno and Los Angeles correlate to the poverty rate? And our hypothesis is that we hypothesize that race and housing are the biggest factors in determining poverty in California because of their relation to deciding what areas are the most impoverished. Our group used demographic data in CHHS open data to analyze the percentage of people in Fresno and LA below 200% of the federal poverty line based on their race and ethnicity. We used Excel to filter the data to only show the overall percentages of people only from LA and Fresno who are below the poverty line. And our group used data sets retrieved from Fred economic data that show the median house prices in Los Angeles and Fresno. We used a graph that shows the percentage of which race/ethnicity are below the poverty line in Los Angeles.
Figure 1 shows the people in Fresno below 200% of the federal poverty line, with the y-axis being the percent in the federal poverty line and the x-axis being the race/ethnicity. The data was based on the chart below on the bottom left, outlined in 200%. And according to the graph, you can see that African American, Latino are the most impoverished in Fresno, while the total amount of people in poverty is above 50%.
Our figure 2, it shows the housing prices in Los Angeles County. From this chart, we can see that around 2013, real estate sees a bullish trend at the end of 2012 and continues all the way until 2019. And that is not given on 2020, but is to assume that the housing prices are to continue the trend. And this is figure 2 continued, and it shows the median houses bought in Fresno, California from 1977 to 2020. Um, the graph shows that from 2012, the median median housing cost is rising and is continuing that way into the 2020 year. And this tells us that California is only going to be more expensive to live in as time goes on.
Figure 3 shows the poverty rate versus race/ethnicity in LA. According to the graph, people of color, excluding Asians, Pacific Islanders, and multiracial people, make up the greatest percentage of people in poverty in Los Angeles.
And in conclusion, we found that minorities make up the biggest percentage of those who live below the federal poverty line compared to white people in both Los Angeles and Fresno. housing is becoming more expensive for most California residents to afford, which could be a factor as to why Los Angeles is dealing with a homeless problem, and also as to why Fresno is seeing more homeless people in and around the metropolitan area.
In future studies, we can include 2020 in our data to study the poverty trends with COVID-19, since the virus had an extremely large impact on the economy and society. We could also include a comparison of North California and Southern California poverty rates and how education is a factor, along with race/ethnicity and taxes. Um, we could also research into methods that have helped lower poverty rates in other states and consider what might be effective in California. We could compare poverty rates for different age groups, and we could also discuss how we as a collective group can take measures from now on to lower poverty rates in California.
We would like to thank our professor, Dr. Ho Hanesian, the ASAs, and of course, Fresno State for giving us this opportunity to present our project. And these are our references, our data retrieved from these sites. And that's it. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.